Hello everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at a box of bulbs. We haven't done this in a little bit, so I'm excited to take a look through this incandescent bin here. We haven't taken a look at this one before, so let's dive right in and see what we have inside. The first one we have here is an A19 inside frost bulb. This one, it's hard to read, but it says extra life, 75 watt, 130 volt, 5,000 hours. This one, oh, it does say pull in there on the bottom. I got with the lamp in the corner of the basement that has the 3 neon flicker flame bulbs in it. This was the main bulb in the top. Note how the filament's all on one side of the bulb. Not sure what that's all about, but it does have some decent blackening there at the top. I mean, it's centered inside. It's just the fact that they put the filament all to one side, so I don't know. It has a brass base. Now, there's a whole bunch of these in here. These are Fight Electric 11 watt S11 or S14, sign bulbs. These are the ones that you use in all those party strings everybody has outside nowadays. The Fight Electric brand one that I have came with a whole bunch of these extra bulbs. Now, these aren't exactly my most favorite design. I'm not a big fan of the squiggly filament. I much prefer the C-shaped filament, like this one here. This has a C-shaped filament, but this one is more interesting. This is a Philips 40 watt fan light. It does have the S14 size enclosure, but it is a ceiling fan bulb, and it's 40 watt. I can't say I've ever seen one like this high of wattage before. That is a unique one. I had 2 of these. I don't remember what the other one was, or maybe it was a package that only had 1 in it. I don't remember. Either way, that's the only one I have. Yeah, a lot of these, outdoor bulbs, there's like a bunch extra. It came with a whole bunch extra. Here's another one. And another one. Okay, maybe that's all of them. This is an interesting brand bulb. It's a Narva. I don't know what that is. AHD. Made in GDR. I don't remember what that is. I'm sure somebody said, was that Germany or something? I don't know. Has an interesting base on it here. It kind of has a bluish color to it. I don't know if that's steel or aluminum or what. I can get some magnets here and find out, I guess. Yeah, it's magnetic. Unlike a standard incandescent base, this is indeed magnetic. So that's interesting. This one I got at the Restore quite some time ago. I do believe it works. Yep, there it is. It's got a horizontal filament, as you can see, with a single support in the center. Filament's up kind of high, too. It's an interesting bulb. Definitely not something you see here in America all the time. Now, this one is a Fight Electric 60 watt, 130 volt industrial quality bulb. You see a lot of these at apartment complexes. I think they get them in a bulk package. And it's kind of this very light inside frost. It does say Poland on it, so maybe it came from the same factory. Kind of a very similar design. It has a horizontal filament in it. I don't know if it has a support or not. I think it has one support in the center. This one actually came from a building in downtown Seattle that was being renovated, and everything was getting taken out of, so it's a standard incandescent bulb, but there's nothing wrong with that. Let's take a look at a colored one here. This is a yellow-coated Sylvania 15 watt, 130 volt group replacement. It's interesting that it's an A15 shape instead of the more standard, S14 sign shape. It does have a brass base on it, though. It's a very light yellow coating. There it is. Yeah, the coating's coming off, as you can see, too. Very common on these colored bulbs. I do like the big 15 on the etch there, though. That is cool. Here we have next to it another one. This is a Sylvania 15 watt again, but it's a nice ceramic coated red bulb. Not sure where I found this one. I think it was in a lamp and I took it out of the lamp and got it for 50 cents because it was just too cool to pass up. I don't know if it was at a restore or thrift store or what, but a nice little red bulb there. Here we have a pretty standard Sylvania 100 watt double life. I'm sure it has a vertical filament. Yep, vertical filament. Yep, because you can see the support there on the side. No support in the center, just a pretty standard vertical filament. Here's a halogen. This is a nice BT15 shaped halogen. This is I want to say it's a Philips. I don't remember what wattage it is, though. Probably 100 or something bright. Yeah, it's got to be 100. That thing is incredibly bright. I remember when these first came out. That was very cool technology at the time. And boy, do they get hot. So I have these in a 60 watt version, clear end coated like this back home. Definitely a Philips base on it. So that's cool. You know, very similar in size to an A19. And it looks like a high-intensity discharge bulb. Even better. This is a standard 100-watt, 120-volt soft white. Definitely made by Sylvania, though. Just really generic branding on it. Maybe it was for a store brand or something. But, again, just a standard 100-watt incandescent. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, here's another one. Here's a GE. This is a 100-watt. Pretty standard GE here. It works too. It has a vertical filament that is pretty saggy, as you can see. So this one either has a bunch of use on it and it has, you know, been in this direction its whole life, is my guess, or was manufactured that way. Not a lot of blackening in the bulb, though, so that's why I wonder if it is new, and that's just how it ended up going. Here we have a little A15 with a very slanted base on it. This is a 60 watt. This actually was in the porch light on the house when I got it. I don't know how they say that 60 watt. It seems kind of dim to me. But these are popular as ceiling fan bulbs for some time. In fact, I think they still make bulbs like this for ceiling fans. It's just smaller so they don't stick out. Nothing too crazy there. Here we have an appliance bulb. This is a 40 watt, just generic bulb. This came with, I think, a couple others. Oh, maybe this one came out of something. Either way, I have some of these that my friend got for me out of a dumpster. This one works just fine. It's got a nice brass base on it. I want to say this one came from something because the filament looks kind of crystallized. So it must have some hours on it. Here we have a Sylvania 40 watt, 120 volt. I think it has a vertical filament. I love the frosted glass here, though. Yep, that's a vertical filament, and boy, does it want to move around. Okay, then. It's almost like a flicker flame. This came with a clip light, I do believe. Still works, so we keep it around. Why not? Okay, this is the one, the version that my friend got for me. This is a 40 watt, yep, appliance bulb. Pretty generic. It was a CVS in-store brand. Filament is the most thrown together junk you've ever seen in your life, but hey, it works, and if it's going to light up my oven, that's fine. Oh, that's Candelabra. We'll save that for a minute. This is an interesting one. This is a Sylvania Super Saver. This is a 52 watt. They're slimmer than a standard A19, as you can see. I believe it does have a vertical filament. This was in the outdoor closet at our apartment out here when we first moved out to the Seattle area. I ended up changing it out for an even more generic bulb because I wanted to keep the Super Saver bulb. You don't see these too often. Got a vertical filament, as you could kind of tell. It's an interesting bulb shape. Very skinny. Speaking of interesting bulb shapes, here is a Sylvania 40 watt bulb. I'm not sure what in the world they'd call this. ATT A-T-T-T. I don't know. But there's a video of this on the channel, just like all these bulbs. Very unique design. I'm not sure if this was sold as a standard brand or like a long life thing or what, but it does have a vertical filament in there. Just a really cool design. I have one of these in the bulb display downstairs. Very neat bulb. Continuing with neat bulb designs, here we have a Sears Die-Hard 60 watt. I believe these were made by Westinghouse as their turtle bulb line. I think they had extra life, 6,000 hours in this case. But this one has the Sears branding, has a vertical filament, as you can see there, with the top support shadow. Very cool bulb. Found that at a restore. Nice brass base. Unique shaped bulbs. Here we have a pretty standard Fight Electric 130 volt candle bulb. It's pretty hefty. Dim little thing. Nothing wrong with that. It does have a nice C-shaped filament in it though, which you don't see very often in these flame bulbs. Yeah, it's nice and dim. Oh, it gets hot as can be though. My goodness, set that down. Here we have a spun glow bulb. This one's by Satco. It's a 60 watt. I got a bunch of these on clearance. Well, actually, no. I found them at the restore. They were originally on clearance, though, at the McClendon's Hardware. Love these spun glow bulbs. Those are really cool. Got a nice C-shaped filament in there. I try not to touch the threads, because when you do, this kind of stuff happens. More sign bulbs. There's a lot of sign bulbs in here. Okay, this is a GE 40 watt Reveal piano or picture frame bulb. This must have came with a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's a cool one. It's got a very flat top on it. I remember getting these when I was younger. They were just so cool because they had such a long filament in them. Set this down somewhere. There we go. Thinking of Reveal, this one looks like it's a Reveal because it's got that blue coating to it. I'm not sure where this one came from either. Yeah, it's a Reveal, GE Reveal. Nothing too fancy about it other than it has that kind of bluish coating to it. This is a cool one. This is a Philips Spotline RM19 bulb. Now, I had one of these when I was much younger. It was 35 watt. Got it at the hardware store. My father did for me. And, of course, I don't know what happened to it. I'm sure I broke it. I haven't been able to find one of them since with the bigger, thicker base on it here. They made a thinner version of this, which I do have a couple versions of. But I finally found this exact same shape again. This one's 75 watt. I believe one of the higher wattages they made for them. But it's like a ER bulb. It's made to get as much light out of it as possible with all the different angles. That's why it has such a nice narrow beam. That's a pretty cool bulb. Like I said, all these have videos on the channel here independently. More of these bulbs, man. They gave you so many of them as extras. It's ridiculous. Here we have it just says T14 40 watt. That's helpful. This must have came with something. It's kind of neat. It's a swirly looking thing. I don't know where in the world I found this. Kind of a neat bulb, though. Those Edison things were really popular. Now they're all filament LED. Okay, here we go. This is a nice early halogen. This thing is heavy as can be because this is ceramic. We have our halogen capsule inside. This one is a spot. This came with a whole bunch of other bulbs from the second use building place. It's 75 watt, 120 volt, GE. We won't have it on long because it's bright. There it is. Yeah, it's bright. These things were cool when they first came out. I remember getting a 60 watt version of this when I was much younger. Here's a different version of the same idea. This one is a Philips Halogen Halogen, or whatever they wanted to call their line at the time. This one's a 45 watt version. Par 16. Again, a very nice spot of light from the halogen capsule. That's a cool bulb from early Halogenville. Okay, here's another Slimline bulb. This one's not a super saver. It's just a Sylvania 75 watt 130 volt. So they weren't exclusively super saver bulbs. Vertical filament again. Unique design. We're getting down there. This one's a 75 watt GE Reveal. I remember when these things came out, they were a pretty popular thing. Again, with the blue light, we got a horizontal filament on this one, as you can see. No support in the middle, just kind of hanging there. There might be support. I don't know. It's pretty solid. It doesn't really wobble around, but the Reveals had the big GE logo in the middle. I don't know if they even make such a thing anymore. I think it's all LED again. Reveal LEDs, I have seen those. Here we have a pretty standard piano bulb. Satco, I'm guessing, 25 watt. No idea where this came from. It's got that U-shaped filament in there. Again, would have been cool if it was vertical. These are always a downer because the vertical ones are just so much cooler. But I do like the frosted. That's nice. We got the big guy here. This one is a nice Sylvania 150 watt 120 volt bulb. I don't remember where I found this one, but it's a very early one. And the reason I know that, not only from the etch being a nice older Sylvania etch, but just the edge here. This is a very, tight corner. The more modern ones have more of a curve here. This is more of a point. Again, all the angles are very flat point. We have a heat shield here, and you can see the filament inside. This is going to be a cool one. Here we go. Yes. I remember getting these, not this old of one, but getting these 150 watt flood bulbs at the Family Dollar back in the day. They sold them there. I think I have a couple. They were always a cool find. The little heat shield wobbles back and forth. Love these incandescent R. Well, this is a BR because we have a little bump there. It's a BR38 bulb. What else do we have in here for medium base? We have this little guy. This is a Sylvania 40 watt. No idea where I got this from. Kind of a poor excuse for a little tip on it here, but it does have a C-shaped filament. So, happy with that. Ooh, that thing's hot. Here's another one. Here's an appliance bulb. This is an older GE. I wonder if they still use this etch. I don't think so anymore. But again, a nice C-shaped filament. You could use these in lava lamps as well. Or really whatever. It's just a 40 watt A15 bulb. There's nothing super special about it. It says appliance on it, but you could use it in anything else too. More of these, man. Terrible. Okay, I think the last thing I see is we have this little guy here. This is a 7.5 watt Philips. I got a whole bunch of these, like literally a ton of these, from a military base back home in Wisconsin. I use them in the accent lights. We used them in the hall lights in college for evening lighting. Love these little S11 bulbs. Would have been cool if they were coated, but clear ones are cool too. I can't complain there. Another one of these. This one is a... Is there an etch on it? Oh yeah, it says Sylvania 120 volt 25 watt. This one has an actual tip on it there, so before Sylvania's decided to do whatever excuse they had for this. Very nice. And of course we have the slicker flame here. This is not, incandescent. It is gas discharge, but it's fun. So let's take a look at it because it's fun. This one's a GE. I think I got a whole bunch of these on clearance at Walmart not too long ago. Those are always fun. Love these flicker flames. Yeah, it's a GE. Awesome. Okay, let's move on to our little adapter here. And we're going to adapt it to intermediate, because we do have some intermediate bulbs in here, I see. Oh, there are some bigger ones. Well, we'll get back to them, I guess. This one is, I'm not sure what, but 25 watts. Got a little heat shield in there. These are used in little clip lamps and things like that. I have some Lightolier track lights that use these little bulbs. So whenever I find them, I pick them up. Running out of places to put things. Here's another one. This one is a Satco. It does not have a heat shield, but it has a silverized coating that is very much at an angle. It's more of a spot than a flood, but unique. And this one is European in base. So we won't be able to put it in right here. I don't have that adapter ready at hand. But again, it's the same design idea as this one. Just in a European version. And it is 125 to 130 volt, interestingly enough. Okay, let's see. I thought we had a couple others. Yes. We have these high intensity Fight 40 watt. I actually picked up a couple of these and then found some at a restore. For the microwave light, I had a filament LED version in there, but that burned out, so that was big sad. Here's another one. This one's a Sylvania. Take a look at it. This is the same size globe as our little clear one here, just with a different base put on it. These get very hot. That's why I don't leave them on very long. Okay, anything else? This is not intermediate. This, again, is some European size. This one, looking if it's burned out. It doesn't appear to be. These are used in the types of bulbs that are at, like, the county fair and stuff on rides. They're, you know, in the plastic covers, like midway lighting or whatever they call them. But, yeah, they're 120 volt. They use this European-style base inside of the plastic housing. These are pretty cool. Okay, let's go back to our medium base again here real quick. We have this little blue guy, and he's loose, so... yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get him in there. I gotta glue him into place. That's kind of too bad. Another clear one. And I love these. Look at the little etch on this. I love these with the etch. Sylvania, 115 to 125 volt. Ooh, love that. I might have to put this in a lamp. I love it so much. It's like a tasty candy. Love that. That's beautiful. It most certainly has a C-shaped filament inside. They usually always do. For those older ones anyway. So let's get our adapters back in here and let's venture into the world of candelabra-based bulbs. This one I got with a light from Earthwise or whatever. It's just a bright glow bulb. It's got a heavily used filament on it there, as you can see. It's kind of starting to crystallize. It's a Philips bulb, actually. Interesting. And... this is a medium base one again. This is a Satco. I don't think we took a look at a Satco one, so we're going to do that. There it is. Pretty typical V-shaped filament. Nothing really to write home about. That's what a lot of these are. Here's some IKEA incandescent bulbs. You don't see that. Made in Philippines. I think this came with a whole bunch of other bulbs. It's not normally something I'd pick up. And these are 15 watt bulbs. These are Satco. These came in the now flicker flame lamp that I have in the basement. They're 15 watt. But of course I took them out because I wanted the flicker flames because that is just so much better. Here we have some little exit sign bulbs. Now these are rated at 145 volts. I don't really see a manufacturer on it. But they're a little dimmer, 15 watt. Pretty cool. That's what's inside this as well. Same thing. More IKEA. Here's some little S6 bulbs. That one has a weird filament in it. This one's a little bit better. I know I got these somewhere. I don't remember where. But there's some nice dim little 6 watt, 130 volt bulbs. You know, it would help if it would actually focus on it, wouldn't it? Instead it focuses on the background and then I don't notice it for some reason. Here we have a whole bunch of these little these are C7 bulbs. These came with the Lightolier track lighting. You know, just your standard Christmas bulb. There's nothing fancy. There's a whole bunch of them in here. This is interesting. Look at this little guy. This is a 15 watt bulb by Fight Electric, believe it or not. I'm sure this thing gets as hot as can be because that is very small for a filament of that size. So we're not going to leave it on very long because I don't really want to burn myself. This is a GE 60 watt. No idea where in the world this thing came from. I have no use for something this bright and glary. We're running out of space. Let's see if I can find anything else. There's a pretty typical 7 watt. Okay, here's a cool one. This is a Sylvania 25 watt halogen. I think this was from the hardware store again. Isn't that cool? I'm not sure if it's supposed to be equivalent to anything, maybe a 40 watt or something, but it says 25 watt on it. Love the halogen capsule stuff like that. Instead of double-ended, it's single-ended. In fact, we have another one right here. Here we have a spun glow bulb. This is a Sylvania 25 watt. It has most certainly seen better days. But you know what? It still works. It'd be good for a haunted house, you think? It's got a zigzag filament in there. And here's one in much better shape. This is a Satco 60 watt. Ooh, this thing's going to be bright. Love these things, though. Just look at how it distributes the light. They're starting to make these in filament LED, which is awesome. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that's unique in here. This is most certainly unique. This is a little indicator bulb. Ooh, and it does have an etch on it. Yes, it does. Westinghouse 6 watt 130 volt USA. Beautiful little S6 6 watt indicator bulb. That is awesome. And this one, Satco 40 watt 130 volt. You know, nothing crazy there. I think that's pretty much everything. Here's another 15 watt. This one's a GE. Came from the same lamp. Ooh, can't forget this one. This one's actually it's either a GE Mazda or a Westinghouse Mazda. Antique one here. 15 watt. Oh, there you can see it. See the etch there? You can see the Westinghouse logo. Westinghouse Mazda 115 volt. That is awesome. That's the oldest one here, that's for sure. And that's a great place to leave off because all the other ones are just some standard nightlight bulbs that we've, well, pretty much taken a look at. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little look around, or not so quick. It's been about 30 minutes now, taking a look at these incandescent bulbs. But it's always fun. As always, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, be sure to give it a like down below and leave a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more great videos like this one. Also check out my secondary channel Merkove and subscribe over there for more behind the scenes and alternative content. Of course, check out the other videos here on this screen, and as always, thank you very much for watching.